Recognized to explain the amendment.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. This is a very simple amendment that is actually about public safety of everyone involved, ICE agents as well as the community at large, as well as those that potentially are going to be apprehended by ICE. And simply, it would require that ICE identify themselves and ensure that they do not wear a mask except if medically necessary or if necessary to preserve the integrity of undercover operations in order to use funds for civil ICE enforcement actions. With every day that passes in this administration, we are seeing more and more ICE officers rounding up people off the streets into vehicles, and honestly, some of them look like they are supposed to be my criminal defendants in court. It looks like people are getting robbed. It looks like people are about to endure a carjacking, and in fact, I have a video to describe what I'm talking about.
Shocking video showing the moment ICE agents smashed a car window and forcibly removed a man in New Bedford. 29-year-old Juan Francisco Mendez has no criminal record and was...
Video went viral earlier this week after police say Johnson impersonated an ICE officer.
You got caught, Mo. Where you from, Mexico? You from Mexico?
Now, this is what we have going on in our country. The sad part is that, honestly, both of them look like they could be part of the same team. And unfortunately, you have people in both of those situations. The first situation, when the officers were busting out their windows, to be clear, there was no record. There was no reason to go after the people that were in that car. And then in the second situation, you had someone that literally took their car keys, and you're talking about people sitting there in fear because they literally don't know if this is somebody who is authorized to do this. So this is about safety, and let me tell you about safety. Now, I know Lance Gooden is running around here somewhere. Now, Lance Gooden is from Texas like I am. Chip Roy is from Texas like I am. Any of us can tell y'all about how we do it in Texas. We carry. And when I say we, all of us. I'm licensed to carry, as well as I'm sure a number of my colleagues on that side of the aisle are licensed to carry. And essentially, we have a stand your ground law in the state of Texas. We have seen officers, police officers that have gone in under no-knock raids. This is legislation that I carried when I was on the state level, trying to make sure that I could keep law enforcement safe, because when you go into a home and you haven't identified yourself, it is the most dangerous time for law enforcement agents. And I know that we have some former law enforcement on this side of the aisle as well. In fact, I had a number of law enforcement agencies that were backing my no-knock bill because they understood how dangerous it was. So one of the things that we always do typically in criminal law before we can charge anybody with evading arrest or failing to ID is we have to make sure that people even know that it was law enforcement. When you have somebody that say does something like this, like busting my window out, you try that in Texas. It may not turn out too well. It needs to be that we are all on the same page and we say, you need to be properly identified as an ICE agent if we are going to fund what you are doing. As we are looking around, there are so many people that believe that their communities are now plagued with crime because they see ICE agents that are not clearly identified and they are disappearing students on campus, on the sides of streets. They don't know what's going on. And honestly, if we're not even just talking about stand your ground, in a lot of states, if you see someone that is committing what you believe to be a heinous crime against somebody else, you're allowed to take action. We are talking about putting not only the people, which half of them are innocent in the first place, because we love to grab up some citizens wrongfully. We know it happened down in Florida. Y'all may not care because it was Florida, but it happened down in Florida where we had a U.S. citizen that was sitting in jail for 48 hours because of yet another mistake of ICE. In Milwaukee, we had 3 citizens, a toddler and his mother and the grandmother, that were detained and sent to an immigration detention center after they reportedly were overheard speaking Spanish. In short, what we don't want is to create even more issues, and that's what we're doing. I would never imagine, and I'm gonna be honest, I have never seen law enforcement. Now, I haven't had to deal with cases that involved ICE. I'm gonna be honest about that. But I have never seen a police officer, whether he was city or whether he was a county sheriff's deputy, do the kind of things that I've been seeing. Busting out windows, kicking down doors. And to be perfectly honest, if that's the operations of ICE, we probably need to work on that as well. But at the end of the day, if this is what they are going to do and how they are going to conduct themselves, I can tell you, I'm sorry, this is about safety. Sorry, I will yield.
Gentlelady yields back.